What's up, guys? It's your boy Matthew. This is Practice Squadron. And I know Jimmy Butler got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers earlier this season. That being said, I worked on this topic for a couple of days before he got traded, and I decided to wait on this topic for a couple of months, and now that the regular season has come to the close and the 76ers are already out of the playoffs, I decided to come back to this. So instead of this being a video about why the Kings should trade for Jimmy Butler, it has now become a video on why they should add him this offseason in free agency. Let me paint you a picture. Your team hasn't made the playoff in years, and all attempts to rebuild have been unsuccessful. Fans have started to be more excited about their lottery draft picks than they are about their team actually winning games. This is the case with the Sacramento Kings. The Kings haven't made the playoffs in 13 seasons, which currently leads the NBA in the playoff droughts. Next season has the potential to be different, though. I believe the addition of one player can dramatically impact the change of the Kings for the better. That player, in fact, is Jimmy Butler, and they desperately need him. The Minnesota Timberwolves' record in the 2016-17 season was 31-51. They finished 13th in the Western Conference. In that year, they were 27th out of 30th in defensive rating. The 2016-17 season was also the 14th year in a row that the Timberwolves did not make the playoffs. Their team lacked depth and playmaking. The only thing that the Timberwolves had going for them was that they had two young players that were recent #1 overall picks, and that is Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. This is where the Timberwolves made their splash and traded for Jimmy Butler. Their record spiked from winning 31 games to winning 47. This allowed them to finish 8th in the NBA Western Conference and make a playoff berth for the first time in 14 years. Butler alone didn't do this, but his presence did influence other well-trained veterans to join him, such as Jeff Teague, Jamal Crawford, Taj Gibson, and later influencing Derrick Rose after being bought out by the Cavs. Not only was Jimmy Butler successful off the court by attracting players, but his presence on the court is what turned this team around. He led the team in points per game with 22.2, and with steals getting 2 per game. When Butler suffered a knee injury on February 23rd in 2018 at Houston, he missed 17 games before returning to the playoffs. In that stretch, Minnesota went 8-9 during Butler's absence, and in total went 10-13 when Butler did not play that season. So I've proven that Jimmy Butler has value, but can the Sacramento Kings actually make the playoffs that they did add him in free agency? Let's dive into the Sacramento Kings. Last season, they finished 27-55. 12th in the NBA Western Conference, and ended up with the 28th out of 30th defensive rating. This is extremely similar to how the Timberwolves were before they added Jimmy Butler. This year, the Kings did have some decent players and some surprising bench depth. Their 5th overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft, De'Aaron Fox, has proven himself to be a quality point guard thus far, as he finished the season with 17.3 points, 7.3 assists, and 3.8 rebounds a game. Not too bad for a second-year player. Their 6th pick in the 2015 NBA draft, Willie Cauley-Stein, has emerged as a viable center with a grit and grind mentality. The Kings don't really rely on him too much when it comes to offense, although he still averages 11.9 points and 2.4 assists per game, which are almost equivalent to last season, even though he's been playing more minutes. His increase in minutes has affected his rebounding and defensive skills, though, as he gets 8.4 rebounds per game and 1.2 steals. His assists are relatively the same as last season with 2.4 per game. He did start all 81 games that he played in this year, which does give him a durability factor. Their shooting guard, Buddy Hield, who was part of the DeMarcus Cousins trade package, had a career year this season. He has become everything he was advertised. One of the most improved players, he gave the Kings 20.7 points and 5 rebounds per game. But his value comes with this 3-point ability, where he is shooting at a 43% clip. In endgame close situations, Hield has to be on the court to knock down the go-ahead 3, which he proved on multiple occasions this year. Their recent 2nd overall pick forward Marvin Bagley out of Duke already put up some solid numbers with 14.9 points, 7.9 rebounds per game, while shooting 50% from the field. Although he only started 4 games, he does play a little over 25 minutes per game. At times, it looks like he could really battle with the best of them, as he's been seen getting 28 points, 14 rebounds, double-double versus the Golden State Warriors this season, look out for his improvement over the summer as his three-point percentage continues to climb. Earlier in the season, he was shooting around 25% from three, which is pretty low in the modern NBA, but he did finish with the season shooting 31% from three, so there has been significant improvement throughout the season. He has all the tools to be a reliable three-point shooter, so I fully expect his averages to increase next season. Lastly, we cannot forget about their solid bench depth of Bogdan Bogdanovic, Harry Giles, and Yogi Ferrell, in the addition of Marvin Bagley. All have proven to be a quality young bench that the starters can rely on. Now let's talk about the impact that Jimmy Butler can bring to this young Kings team. Currently, the starting forwards are Bielitsa, who they signed this past offseason from Jimmy Butler's old team, the Timberwolves, and Harrison Barnes, who they traded for this past trade deadline. On last year's Timberwolves, Bielitsa was pretty much the only impactful player off the bench until Derrick Rose got signed. In fact, Bielitsa was the replacement when Jimmy Butler went down with injury last season and proved to be a decent solution. That being said, the Timberwolves were still 10-13 without Butler, so as much as a proven bench player Bielitsa is, he is no way the same impactful player that Jimmy Butler is. Barnes and Butler could actually be a really good combo for the teams. Both are well-versed 3-and-D players who can complement each other both on offense and defense. Barnes is better known as a catch-and-shoot, while Butler is more of a penetrating shot creator. Both have the ability to guard positions 1 through 4, as well as being trusted with the final shot in crunch time. Jimmy Butler is astronomically a better player than Andre Iguodala, and both him and Barnes were able to play side-by-side when they both won their first championship, as well being part of the 73-win Warriors. In all honesty, Jimmy Butler can be the glue that this team needs. He provides scoring, defense, and most importantly, his effort in games is unmatched. His veteran presence can be absorbed by these young guys who desperately need a leader to guide them. If Jimmy Butler went to the Kings, it would be Jimmy's team. And having your own team feed off your board can be exhilarating. The Kings are 39-43 and finished with the 9th seed in the West. Missed the playoffs once again. The Kings haven't won 40 or more games since the 05-06 season, and this season resulted 1 game shy. All that being said, they finished 3-7 in the last 10 games once they were eliminated from the playoff picture. This fact that they were on the cusp of a playoff burst should be enough for the Kings to go after Jimmy Butler this offseason. It's no secret that Jimmy Butler is a game-changing player, but will he want to be a part of a super team in the East or be a rising sensation in the West? P.S. Can the Kings attract a superstar like Jimmy Butler? Will he stay with the 76ers, or will he join a different super team and make a championship run? Let me know.